OTAs for the New York Jets begins today. How about that? Let's get into all the latest news right now on Jets Media, presented by Prize Picks. Don't forget to make sure that you hit that like button on your way into the show. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning into this edition of Jets Media as always. And I wasn't kidding, man. We got the Jets in their buckets for the first time, it feels like, in a long time. So a lot to get into in today's edition of Jets Media. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you do not already. There's Geno Smith walking onto the field today. How about that? How about that? Geno Smith. For a second, I thought that was Justin Fields. I'm not going to lie to you guys. For a split second, I'm like, is that Justin Fields or is that Geno? It's just because of the same number, really. But I'm really excited to talk all things Jets with you guys. As we all know, my beloved New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals, and I couldn't be more elated. And in this live, we're going to go into a segment about could the New York Jets pull off what the New York Knicks did, which we have to get into. But there was a trade today that we have to talk about before anything else. There was a trade today that the New York Jets made. What exactly does it mean? What exactly does it mean? So, if you missed it, the New York Jets, they made a trade today, trading away Irv Charles to the Seattle Seahawks for a conditional 7th round pick. What exactly does this mean? He's a special teams guy. The Jets obviously love him as a gunner, and they felt like, yeah, he's not really part of our long-term plans. Let's get him out of here. And the Jets, to me, it feels like they want to prioritize Arian Smith and Stiggers as the gunners, and maybe there's other guys that could really establish themselves as main pieces to the special teams. But the one thing I will say about this news is I trust the New York Jets on the special team side of the ball more than anybody else. So welcome on into Jets Media, presented by Prize Picks. And we had some breaking news that came out, and I think this really does open up the door for Arian Smith. Rookie pick last year out of Georgia, wide receiver. A lot of people were excited about him. A lot of people questioned that pick because of the drop issues. Why would the Jets draft him? But to me, this trade of Irv Charles, that's the first person I thought of. And you may be wondering why. Well, I remember Chris Banjo spoke to the media recently, and he had nothing but glowing things to say about the Jets' rookie wide receiver from last year in Arian Smith. He took on the gunner duties. And remember, the New York Jets had the best special teams in the NFL last year without Irv Charles healthy. So not really a big worry about that at all. I think that this definitely shows you that the speed that Arian Smith provides is big. And some people don't really value special teams. Some people don't look at it as a big deal. I do. You can win games on special teams. The Jets had a literal victory last year. Only one of 3, of course. Not really that much to gloat about. But my point is, when you can win games single-handedly because of special teams, you got to double down on it. And what Arian Smith's role is as a gunner, his speed allows the greatness of Austin McNamara to be seen, right? When he is sprinting down the sideline on a punt and his speed is able to get to the ball before it gets into the end zone, you can pin them deep inside their own territory. That's important stuff. And I really hope last year reminded Jets fans that, yeah, special teams is important, man. You can't just only talk about offense. You can't only just talk about defense. We got to talk about all phases of the ball. And when I heard from Chris Banjo in the press conference recently, I really thought that Arian Smith was going to be the guy. And in a previous video, we talked about the depth at wide receiver, the depth at special teams. And to me, I even thought to myself, I wonder what their plan is at gunner, because Irv Charles has been on this team for a while. He's supposed to be that guy, but never could stay healthy. And Arian Smith showed a lot of promise. You got Stiggers and other guys. And now it seems like Chris Banjo, his praise of Arian Smith was heard by the front office because they officially trade away Irv Charles for a conditional 7th-round pick. Some people look at this more of a wide receiver move. I don't. I do not see this as a wide receiver move. This is pure special teams. And my big question, though, with Arian Smith, since he seems like he's going to have a role on this team as a special teams player, is he ever going to unlock his potential as a wide receiver? Could the Jets utilize him as a wide receiver? Could they get him on the field as a speedster on the outside, burning defenders? That's really what he's capable of. His speed is off the charts. The New York Jets have speed, and they prioritized him in the draft last year because of his speed alone. So why not get him out there in certain packages? He's probably going to be wide receiver 6 or 7 on the depth chart, depending if they keep, however many wide receivers they keep. Arian's most likely going to be the last man on the team from a depth chart perspective. But with Garrett Wilson being the number 1, Adonai Mitchell, and signing Tim Patrick, drafting Omar Cooper, having Isaiah Williams for special teams purposes for returning, and then your 6 guys, Arian Smith, and then you have guys that are going to be competing for roster spots, of course, undrafted free agent rookies from last year, undrafted free agent rookies from this year. So I think that it's really going to be interesting to see how the Jets unlock the potential of Arian Smith. Get him on the field and maybe certain jet sweeps, turnarounds. Get him on the field, get the ball in this guy's hands. He's a blazer. He can beat you with speed alone. If you spread out this offense and you have Arian Smith one-on-one with the corner with no safety help because they're worried about Garrett Wilson and Kenyon Sadiq on the other side of the field, and you just tell Arian Smith to just run straight, I bet you he can get separation on a corner just because of his speed alone. So I think if I'm the Jets as an offense with Frank Reich, you got to utilize this guy as an offensive weapon, not just a special teams guy. But I can't stress enough the importance of special teams and his impact. And I know this video is kind of turning into an Arian Smith breakdown over Irv Charles, but it's a conditional 7th. I'm not really worried about giving up on him because, again, the New York Jets, they were very productive without him on this team, without him on the team. And you look at what Austin McNamara did last year. I mean, a lot of it had to do with, of course, Arian Smith and a lot of guys from the punt team. It's a collective effort when you are talking about the punt team 110%. All right? Want to let you guys know about a proud sponsor of Jets Media. That is Prize Picks. If you guys want to use the code HMA, you play with $5, get $50 instantly in your lineups today. The Western Conference Finals is active. My New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals, and it feels so freaking good. I've been winning some cash on Prize Picks for my New York Knicks, so if you guys are in New York or in the state that it's legal, definitely go consider it. They, of course, got the NFL season bets as well. You can bet on all, now that the schedule is out, you can actually bet on rushing and receiving touchdowns for certain players to go off in week number 1, which is absolutely ridiculous. You can already bet on that. So if you guys wanted to do that, feel free. Who's going to get a week 1 touchdown in the NFL? JSN on opening night, I think, is going to have a touchdown, and Derrick Henry on their first game against Indianapolis. Because remember, us Jets fans, we are rooting hard for the Colts to lose this year, man. We are rooting hard for those Colts to be bad this year because we own their pick. So go check out Prize Picks, folks. Cannot thank them enough for being a proud sponsor of the channel. Make sure you guys go check them out. All right. Now, let's move right along to our next topic of the show. And that just so happens to be what the New York Jets have to do in order to unlock this special teams with Arian Smith. The kicker side of things is the one thing I'm worried about. Cade York, okay, I don't know about you, bro. I don't know much about you. I don't know anything about if he's going to compete for the spot. The Jets got an undrafted free agent, all right? Like, I don't know how their kicking duties is going to come together as a unit. But at the end of the day, I trust in this man right here in Chris Banjo. I genuinely do. I think that no matter who the New York Jets bring in on this special teams unit, it's going to be A-OK. Remember, Will McDonald had a potential game winning, but the defense cannot get a stop against the Bucks in week 3, or is that week 2? A blocked field goal return for a touchdown. In that game against the Browns, they had 2 returns for a touchdown, where you had Austin McNamara completely dominating, pinning people deep. So there's a lot of reasons to believe that if the Jets defense can finally get their act together and this offense can start to do their thing, we got a potential gem in a punter. And some people laugh at that. A punter? Who cares about a punter? I don't. Well, I do. I care about a punter because the field position battle is everything in football. If you win the field position, you win games. And the way you win field position is by having a good punt team, pinning them deep in their territory, giving the defense an opportunity to make a play when the opposing offense is backed up in their own 5-yard line, getting a sack in the end zone for a safety for free 2 points, getting a pick six, or maybe even forcing a turnover to get the offense on the field. Or you get a stop on defense, you force them to punt the ball to your really good punt return team. So it's really a chess game. That's why I love special teams. It's such an underrated element to the sport of football, and it's a phase of football that I always appreciated just as a fan and a fan of the sport in general. So let me know your thoughts about the New York Jets trading away Irv Charles. Definitely was interesting to see this news break today. Shout out to Zach Rosenblatt for the breaking news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out of the video, and let's go Jets, baby. Fatboy3406. Yo, excited for Jets Media Day. Year 4 for me from Cali. Let's freaking go, man. I cannot wait to have you for year number 4. That's a real loyal fan right there coming through to Jets Media Day. 4 straight years. 4 straight years. That's my guy right there. I do appreciate that. Where did you get that hat? I got this from Dick's Sporting Goods right before it's sold out. It's completely sold out now. So good luck with that. Not to be mean or anything, but all I'm saying is hard to get now. Hard to get. Okay? All right. Let's see what the chat's got to say. Jets should try to get Justin Tucker. I mean, a lot of people are wanting Sorsby in the supplemental draft. Hey. You are completely right, Jesse. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. All right. All right. Well, it's official, folks. The New York Jets are going to have an opportunity to potentially bring in a new quarterback this summer. We've talked about it on the channel for the last few weeks when the news first came out. But now the NCAA is officially rejected Sorsby from returning to the NCAA, which means he is going to be eligible for the supplemental draft. We've talked about this on the channel before, but we're going to have to talk about it that much more here on Jets Media presented by Prize Picks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this situation. You know, the Jets got Cade Klubnik in the building, right? But now, Brandon Sorsby, who could honestly join the Jets in a very unique way. I don't know, man. I gotta hear your thoughts in the comments first and foremost, because Sorsby is one of those prospects that the Jets actually was interested in pre-draft. You know, they knew he was not entering the draft this year, but when they went to Texas Tech's Pro Day to scout their main man, Mr. David Bailey, right? Sorsby was their quarterback, and at the Pro Day, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Jets coaching staff was caught red-handed with this man. Talking to him, they had scouts talking to him, talking him up, looking at Sorsby like, hey, could we draft you? Should we draft you? So I definitely am curious to get your guys' thoughts in the comments right now about this. First and foremost, let me know if you'd be interested in this, because Brendan Sorsby now was supposed to be, like, when you look at all of the, like, the draft people saying that the 2027 draft class is loaded, a big reason for that was also Sorsby. Like, Sorsby was one of those guys that is supposed to be elite, right? He's supposed to be one of those guys that a lot of people are excited to draft. And now that he's going to Texas Tech, he's going to have a big season. And now that the official breaking news is here, that he is officially not going into the NCAA. Now, he is going to be able to appeal this again, but most likely not going to win that battle. So I think when you're the Jets, You got to throw the dart at the board no matter how you do it. But I don't know. The guy bet on NCAA football while participating in the NCAA. If that's not a character issue, I don't know what to tell you. You need your quarterback to be trustworthy. You need him to be a leader. You need him to be everything. Now, is that something that he maybe learned from and can bounce back and can absolutely prove that, you know what, that's behind me. I'm a better man now. I obviously know I'm not going to bet when I'm in the NFL. And could that be fixed? Yeah, absolutely. It could be fixed. A lot of people have gambling problems and then they come back from it and they rebound and they don't have an issue with it anymore. So that's a possibility. But my problem with this is the character thing and also Cade Klubnik being drafted and also going into 2027. Are you willing to sacrifice a third or fourth round pick? Basically, the way it works, it's like an auction. You throw in a third or a fourth or a fifth, whatever value you think he is and what you're willing to give up. And then if it sticks, it sticks. And you get him in the supplemental draft that will happen in July if it does happen. It's very rare. It doesn't happen often. But he has no other option. If he can't go back to college, he would probably want to go into the NFL and sit and be a backup and develop underneath a starting quarterback. And we're in the business as the New York Jets looking for our franchise quarterback, as we have been for years. Years. And the Jets made their decision to trade up for Cade Klubnik for a reason. But maybe they look at him as a football player, as a guy that they believe, like, yeah, this guy could actually be somebody in this league. Maybe we should go out there and get him. You never know what the Jets could do. You never know. And, speaking of Sorsby, he's going to receive ongoing treatment and monitoring and support at the school, and you receive outpatient clinical care, just so you're aware of what circumstances he's in. Participation in group and individual therapy, mentor resources, treatment for his related anxiety disorder, and active monitoring of his technological devices. He also will have a custodian to oversee his personal finances and periodic compliance checks. So that's where he's going to be. From a mental standpoint, you already have to, when you get drafted into the NFL as a quarterback, like, dude, I have a feeling it's going to be hard for him to digest an NFL playbook and organize his thoughts while dealing with all this type of stuff. So I'm out. If you ask me, Richie, would you be down for the New York Jets to get this guy? No. I'm out. I feel way more confident in the development of Cade Klubnik more than anything else. So I'm not sitting here and thinking that Cade is the future. Or maybe the Jets are one of those teams that they find their franchise quarterback in the most unprecedented way imaginable in the supplemental draft. That would be the funniest thing of all time. But I would open this up for discussion down below in the comments. How do you feel about Brendan Sorsby? Would you want the New York Jets to sacrifice one of their draft picks in this lucrative 2027 class for this guy? Let me know why or why not in the comments. I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I think that you look around the NFL, there is a gambling problem. Calvin Ridley was suspended for a full season. There's other examples around there. Even the NBA has some issues with it. I'm someone that just doesn't want to have a quarterback that I'm thinking in the back of my head worrying, is this guy putting a bet together? Like, it's the one thing to bet as fans. You got to bet responsibly, of course. And I'm very aware that I sponsor Prize Picks on this channel, and I make sure to remind everybody, please bet responsibly, and we're allowed to ethically gamble at our own expense if we'd like to as fans. But as a player, you can't. Like, that is a rule you cannot break as an athlete. And the fact that he had that much of a problem, that he went out of his way to gamble, knowing how much that is going to deter his ability of playing, like, did he think he's going to get away with it? Did he think that he's going to be able to gamble on games that he's playing in or games that he's not involved in and get away with it? That's what blows my mind, and that's what kind of irks me, and that's why I believe the Jets should not go after him. I'm very stern on it. If they throw their hat in the ring, maybe it sticks. I'm not going to be upset about it, but I'm just not involved in this. I've always been against the Jets going after guys with character problems. The Jets are trying to establish something from scratch that is a winning mindset, a winning culture. And I think that bringing in someone like this in the supplemental draft doesn't really fit that bill. Look at Cade Klubnik. His character is something that I'm noticing I absolutely love. He is a really wise, high IQ, good individual. Just by the little interviews I'm seeing of Cade Klubnik already and doing some research of him in Clemson in high school, like he was raised very properly. Like, I don't know. If I'm the Jets, no thank you. But that's how I look at it. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me down below in the comments, because I'm ready for this Jets football team to put all their resources in Cade Klubnik and Bailey Zappi behind Geno Smith. And then Brady Cook, if you want to bring him up, but Brady Cook. I don't even want Brady Cook on the practice squad, to be honest. It was that bad last year. I ain't going to lie to you guys, but I don't know. I feel like there is a curveball to this. This could change a lot of things. Like, from an NFL perspective, I definitely am curious to see where he does land. Like, where in the NFL is he going to land if he does go into the NFL supplemental draft? That's something that I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on. But I just don't want him on the Jets. And am I alone? Are you guys going to be like, Rich, are you kidding me? We got to get this guy. He's elite. Like, yeah, I like his stuff. What he did in Cincinnati, he showed a lot of promise, and him transferring was definitely something that you felt like was going to help him. But I don't know. I'm out. I made my presence. I made myself clear. But again, if the Jets get him, hey, I'm not going to be complaining. I will be rooting for him as always. But I'm out. Let me know where you stand in the comments. And let's go Jets, baby. Linda's in the chat. Thumbs up. You know it. You know it. It's the Pete Rose rule. You know it. Of course, Jesse. My boy, what up, Cameron? Gotta change that profile pic, bro. Sauce is gone, man. Sauce is gone. Sorry to remind you. Sorry to be the ultimate reminder, but it's true. It's very, very true. Guys, I have a very interesting segment coming up. Curious to get your thoughts of this one, because I don't know. I just feel like you guys are going to enjoy it. Some of you may not, though. So keep that in mind. All right? Keep that in mind. The New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals, and they just gave the New York Jets the perfect blueprint. I know it's different sports. And you guys know me. I'm a huge Knicks fan. I also cover the New York Knicks on a separate YouTube channel than what you're watching right here, which is Jets Media. It's called Knicks Media. This video is not about the Knicks in terms of breaking down the NBA final matchup or anything about that. This video is about how the New York Jets can replicate what the New York Knicks did in their own way, in their own sport. How exactly did the Knicks do it? Maybe you guys watching this are not a Knicks fan, or maybe you are a Knicks fan watching, and you're wondering, how did they do it? There is some similarities. Why? The New York Knicks were the laughingstock of the National Basketball Association, it felt like, my entire life. And the Jets are that right now. And then something's changed with the Knicks, and now they're in the NBA Finals. And they've been relevant for the last 3 to 4 years and respectable. So we're going to break that down right here on Jets Media, presented by Prize Picks. I'm excited for this segment. I really, really am. Because the timeline of the New York Knicks' success is interesting. Now, where is there similarities? The one guy that came to the New York Knicks that changed everything for them was Leon Rose. The New York Knicks owner, Dolan, kept hiring the wrong guy. Similar to Woody Johnson, hiring the wrong guy. Now, Leon Rose came into this building of the New York Knicks, and he is the Grand Master. Think of Leon Rose as Darren Muji, okay? Darren Muji right now is entering his second season. Leon Rose, when he inherited the New York Knicks, they were not good right away. Took some time for his vision of the New York Knicks to come together. And there is a big similarity between Leon Rose and Darren Muji that I've noticed. And that's the trade market. Because the Knicks were not built through the draft. Well, they technically were, if you look at it from the wide perspective. The way the Knicks did it, first of all, they targeted Julius Randle, and people forget about Randle and Tom Thibodeau as the origin. Those are the guys that brought relevancy to the New York Knicks. And then Jalen Brunson was the guy that came here. And the Knicks need their the Jets need their version of Jalen Brunson, and that is a franchise quarterback. Jalen Brunson is the franchise quarterback of the New York Knicks in football terms. He's the face of the team. He's the captain. He's the leader of the snake. And he came here in a very unprecedented way that will never happen again in NBA history, or it's very rare. To be a second-round pick in the NBA, which is equivalent to being like a day 3 pick in the NFL, and then coming off the bench for the Mavericks, and then coming to the Knicks in free agency. And when the Knicks signed him to a $100+ million contract, so many people question, why would the Knicks target Jalen Brunson and give him that type of contract when he hasn't proved to be worth it yet? They saw something in Jalen, and they felt like giving him the keys instead of living in the shadow of Luka Doncic is going to unlock Jalen Brunson. And what happened? They were right. Leon Rose saw it. And then when they brought in Jalen, Leon Rose from then on out, he slowly orchestrated a beautiful way of building this roster, taking the talent that was on the team and flipping them for players that fit their culture. And that is what reminds me of the New York Jets with Darren Muji. It's a different way, but hear me out for a second. What Darren Muji has done since he became a New York Jets general manager, trading away Quinnen, trading away Sauce, trading away Jermaine Johnson. 3 beloved New York Jets for the most part. What Leon Rose did with the Knicks, he traded away beloved Knicks. He traded away R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, 2 Knicks that were draft picks in the first round that Knicks fans loved for the most part. And they traded both of them away. And at the time, a lot of Knicks fans were emotional. But then, after the emotions dissipated, you saw what's coming back in return of these trades. Oh, you're getting OG Anunoby back, who's one of the best two-way players in the league, and that was a big part of it. So the Knicks did not just stop there. They made the big-time trade for Karl Anthony Towns. What did they do? They traded away a fan favorite, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle, who's the man responsible to be the first guy to bring the New York Knicks to the playoffs and be that first stepping stone to relevancy for Karl Anthony Towns. Randle and DiVincenzo, 2 guys. Julius was at the time, from the fan perspective, that everyone was kind of over him, but Dante was a beloved Knick after beating the franchise record for all time in threes made in a full season. And then they trade 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Now, that's something the Jets have not done yet, trading a lot of their own future capital for a player. Different. That's why it's not going to be cut and dry, perfect scenarios here. So my point is, Leon Rose, he established a culture with the Knicks through the trade market. The starting 5 for the Knicks are 5 guys that were not drafted by the Knicks. That's unique. All 5 of them were not drafted by the Knicks. And 4 of the 5 were traded for. Josh Hart, another player the New York Knicks traded for, a first-round pick, and Cam Reddish at the time. And then Jalen Brunson was brought in free agency. The only guys that remain that's part of the New York Knicks rotation that was drafted, both of them in the second round, by the way, Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson. So how can we connect all that to the New York Jets? You look at what Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn is doing, it reminds me of, and this is hoping that the Jets could turn it around, Leon Rose is Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn right now is Tom Thibodeau. The difference between Aaron Glenn and Tom Thibodeau is Thibodeau was a seasoned vet, experienced in the NBA, won Coach of the Year before. Aaron Glenn's a rookie, so it's hard to really compare them exactly. But in terms of the timeline, that's really what it is. And I think that the identification of Darren Muji of targeting these trades and getting assets that's going to fill out this roster with their overall vision is everything. But outside of the personnel, I think the most important thing that the Knicks have, that the Jets have to replicate, it's not the talent, it's not all that stuff. It's not just the captain. It's the culture. It's the mindset. It's the togetherness. That's what makes this New York Knicks team so special. It's the sacrifice and the lack of egos that's allowed this Knicks team to unlock their full potential and go to the championship. I've never in my life seen a team that I root for be this selfless. They do not care about the individual. It took some time. It was not perfect. They went through their bumps in the road. Karl Anthony Towns, who's a multi-time All-Star, had to sacrifice his numbers for the greater good. Jalen Brunson had to give up $113 million in order to afford what this Knicks team has built, allowing them to pay OG, pay Mikal, pay Cat. That's what Jalen Brunson did. And from a role standpoint, Mikal Bridges went from being the number 1 option on the Brooklyn Nets to being the 4th option on the Knicks. That's not easy to do. So I think the buy-in to Mike Brown, their New York Knicks head coach, the system that they've built, and everybody having no egos in this scenario and then playing together and reading the ball, and also something that the New York Knicks possess that I love as well, their will and their passion to win and their confidence is just off the charts. Like, they go out there on the court and they know they're going to dominate, and they will dominate at a high level. They are completely obliterating their opposition. And Aaron Glenn, he had a speech, and I've showed this on the channel recently, actually, on Hard Knocks, when he was the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. He said basically that I want you, talking to the Lions players, to bring that mindset you had in college when you were on a winning football team, and bring that same confidence that you had when you woke up on game day knowing you're going to win back to the NFL. That's the type of mindset Aaron Glenn is trying to bring with this Jets football team. And there is a mindset in the culture of Woody Johnson's Jets that it's the same old Jets. It's going to be trash. The Jets are awful. When you win few games early, they do not handle adversity. And we heard this from Harrison Phillips himself. Harrison Phillips, when he spoke to me at Radio Row this past year, he told me that there's a toxic mindset that creeps into the minds of these Jets players when they feel adversity. It's kind of caves in, and it's like, here we go again type of thing. Well, the Jets got to really figure out a way to handle that better. The New York Knicks this past season, in January, in regular season, they had a very bad stretch of games. It was like 3 weeks where Knicks fans were questioning everything, questioning Mike Brown. Cat sucks. Mikal Bridges is struggling. That's what Knicks fans were saying. And at the time, I was not worried. I knew that they needed to go through adversity to figure themselves out. And then after that, they went 40-14 since that route, just so you know. So the Knicks, they handle adversity with maturity. They know that it's opportunities for growth. Even look at the playoffs. They went down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks, a team that is not as good as them, not even the same level. They went down. They lost 2 games in a row. And then they won 11 straight. 11. So the Jets got to figure out who is the leader who is the Jalen Brunson of the Jets right now. I would probably say Garrett Wilson, even though we need it to be a quarterback. Because the Jets will never, ever be as good as the Knicks right now from a football comparison until they get the franchise quarterback. I've been waiting my entire Knick fan life for a franchise player that leads the Knicks to the championship. And that's Jalen Brunson. I've been waiting my entire life still to this day for a franchise quarterback that the New York Jets have, that they either draft or trade for or however they get him, and sign him in free agency. I don't care how they get him. I don't care if he's old, young. I don't care. I just want a quarterback on the New York Jets that is top 10 in the league in his sport and can lead the Jets to a Super Bowl. I mean, is it that hard? Yeah, it is that hard for the Jets. So I think that it's really interesting to see the blueprint of the Knicks' success. And I think that if the Jets continue to draft well and they can hit on their quarterback next year, or say even Geno Smith somehow magically resurrects his career with the Jets and he's their guy, I don't think that's going to happen, or you never know. I don't want to put that expectation on him rather than anything, even though I'm hoping that does happen. I am rooting for it. I think that the timeline of Darren Muji inheriting the New York Jets roster that Joe Douglas left him, and Leon Rose inheriting a roster that had no talent on it, and they drafted well, and they turned those draft picks into trades. Like, Leon Rose took the guys that he drafted and flipped them in the trade market for guys that fit their culture. That's what Darren Muji has been doing. And I don't expect, it's different with the NFL. Like, I don't expect that. I think that the Jets, what they've done a really good job at is targeting guys in the trade market. T'Vondre Sweat is someone they value as a scheme fit. We'll see what he looks like in his first season as a New York Jet this upcoming season, right? Trading away Sauce, but identifying Adonai Mitchell in that guy that can fit this Jets offense, what they're trying to do on that side of the ball. And trading for Jarvis Brownlee at the time, trading for all these players. The Jets are very active on the trade market. And that's what made Leon Rose special, was identifying trades that really fills out the culture. So let me know if you guys agree or not in the comments. Wanted to make this unique video since the New York Knicks are officially going to the NBA Finals. And if you want more Knicks content, definitely go subscribe to the Knicks Media YouTube channel. I know this is hosted on the Jets Media YouTube channel, but I felt like I had to make a video just rambling on about my New York Knicks and how the New York Jets can maybe follow suit. Let me know if you guys enjoyed and comment down below your thoughts and hit that like button. And let's go Jets and let's go Knicks, baby. Woo! Chris in the chat says, I hope AG's culture-changing skills are strong enough to pull our Jets out of the gutter and get us back to being a consistent wildcard caliber team. Me too, brother. Me too. Me too. I hope, bro. I really do hope. I would be confident, too, if I scored an equivalent of 70 points on an opponent in the playoffs. As you should. I mean, the confidence level is off the charts, so that's what it's all about. But OTAs did begin today, folks, and very important to note that the Jets are starting their OTAs, and we're going to hear from Aaron Glenn tomorrow and all that. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Here is a look at Geno Smith as a New York Jet, baby. I want to remind you guys that Jets Media Day tickets will be available probably by next week, I would say, is when we usually let them go live, early June. If you guys want to fill out your priority list forms, that link is in the description. Definitely check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm very, very excited to host my 5th Jets Media Day event, man. Jets Media Day event. So Geno Smith's out there. I think that we're going into OTA stress-free. Jesse asks, any OTA holdouts? No. Nope. I mean, I don't know, actually. We'll see. We'll see when the media is there tomorrow. The media will be there at OTAs tomorrow. Ricky's in the chat. Richie, what do you think of A.D. Mitchell being the clear-cut number 2, going for 62 catches, 843 yards, 8 touchdowns? I would love that, Ricky. I think that would be the best-case scenario, and I do expect that. I think Adonai Mitchell being the number 2 option next to Garrett Wilson is very, very realistic, and there's nothing wrong with that, even though the Jets drafted Omar Cooper. So I think that is something that the New York Jets got to really evaluate, is their ability to take a deep dive into their receiver room, but we'll see. Folks, we're going to wrap up this live show here. We are live back on the AFC East Roundtable in 2 hours from now, so go check us out on the AFC East Roundtable. We're going to talk some OTAs, so definitely go check us out over there. Love you guys as always. I'm out. Let's go Jets, and let's go Knicks. Peace out.